Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second ever Renée Michelle Merrifield show.
Ever?
How is everybody doing today?
I'm pretty good.
Look at me with my piano stuff, y'all. I'm so obsessed. These shoes are the bomb. So everybody, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully I don't kick this table over.
Is it raining in here? What's going on? That's not going to be good for electronics.
You know, I just had to be fancy. Like, look at this. Isn't this the best?
You're so extra.
Guys, I have some incredible guests today on the Renée Michelle Merrifield show. I'm so honored to be here. How's everybody doing in their coronavirus crisis? That is a
horrible. Thanks for asking.
Everybody, I'm so sorry if anyone is feeling alone or bored in our quarantine. Just remember, God loves you, Jesus loves you, I love you, and it's going to be okay. Something that helps me: open your windows, open your doors. You know what I mean? Let the sun come in. Go outside for a minute. I saw a meme that said, that sun hits differently when it's illegal. So that's pretty funny, and it's so true.
I have no idea what that means.
Today I have some really special guests, and they are dear friends to me. And first we're going to do something else, but these special guests are very honorary, amazing people. Their names are Eric and Marc Klee Johnson, twin brothers. Gotta love them, and thank you so much, Mr. and Mr. Johnson, for being on my show. Now, to start the show, I had a great idea, so I'm going to make a phone call to someone that's very dear to me. Let's see how this goes.
I mean, I'm right here. You don't have to. You just have
Oh, and by the way, everybody, this is Jason Aaron. He is the producer of this show.
Hello.
He is amazing.
Studio J.
If you need podcasts, anything you need, Jason Aaron is going to hook it up for you. So let's see who we got.
Oh.
Hello, darling.
Who is this? Is this Renee?
This is Renee. Guess what, Papaw?
Hello, darling.
You were on the Renée Michelle Merrifield show. How are you, darling?
I am. Well, let's see here. Are you still acquainted with Jason Jollin?
Yes, very much.
Doesn't he produce promotions and situations like that?
He does. I just shouted him out, too. Shout out to Jason Aaron. You know, I heard from
I have an idea that I've been tossing around, and because I know that you're a star performer with the Dude band who do entertainment gigs. Mm-hmm. And we can't mention any company names because it might create a liability, but it would be something that couldn't happen until this terrible virus is defeated and people could congregate outdoors, because it is an outdoor event.
Right.
My idea is this:
Popsters.
Whatever company might agree with this idea.
Okay.
We would call it an old-fashioned parking lot jamboree.
Yes.
Featuring the Dude, starring Renée Merrifield.
Yes, and you have billion-dollar ideas, so this must happen.
Okay, well, it couldn't happen, of course, until we get rid of this terrible coronavirus.
Yes.
Because people have to congregate en masse. And something maybe to throw on the shelf for future consideration.
Yes, Papaw, you are seriously so brilliant. And I hear from the grapevine that you have a 92nd birthday on Monday.
91st, yeah, 91st.
That's what I meant to say, not 92nd.
Oh,
yes, because it was your big 90.
I wanted to tell you, because of the virus, I had to reduce my birthday party down to 50 people instead of 100.
Actually, I believe the new guideline is 10 people.
Papaw, you're just the bestest. I just wanted to call and say hello and let the world hear the popster's voice. So you're such a legend, and you're amazing.
Well, thank you for your consideration of me, and I do dearly love you and Jason both.
Aw.
And I wish you much success in the future. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Papaw. I love you. Bye.
Bye.
So, everybody, that was my Papaw, Popstar Duncan. He is so adorable, and he is turning 91 on Monday. Can you believe that? 91.
That's fantastic. I was pretty sure he was going to suggest that you maybe go grab some groceries.
I know. I've been feeling so bad because my mama and papa mean the world to me, and I do a lot of shopping for them, and I have not been able to because of this virus. So y'all need to stop hoarding the bread, hoarding the toilet paper. These old folks need it. But anyways, enough of the coronavirus.
Hide your wife. Hide your kids.
That's exactly what I was thinking. So Jason texts me right now with a little tidbit. Okay. So let me get situated.
Get yourself situated.
But yeah, this is my new cup. Isn't it cute? Got little cups. But I put some.
Show it to that camera.
Which camera? This one?
That one. Yeah. Why isn't the light on?
Yes, the tail lights aren't working.
Yeah.
But
I'll work on that.
I put some dye in it, so it's fancy. Y'all, this is my 27th birthday special. Ooh, 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 ooh. So, yes, guys, it's crazy times out there, and I hope everyone's doing okay. And just stay positive and, play the music, let the windows open, let the wind come through the house. And don't worry, we're going to get through this as a country. And, so many thanks to the men and women that are giving their bodies and their lives to help fight this coronavirus. So that is just
nurses,
major kudos.
Doctors.
Yes, and our special guest, one of the twins, Marc Johnson, his wife, is an anesthesiologist, and so I know she is just working her butt off. And we have a photo I'll share later of her with her homemade mask. So funny. I just absolutely love it. So she is amazing. You guys are all amazing. I have students, parents that are, nurses or doctors. So thank you guys so much for everything that you do. And I think now it is time to bring on the special honorary guests for the second ever show of the Renée Michelle Merrifield Show. These guys mean the world to me. Not only are they just two of my closest friends and heroes, bandmates, I look up to them and their family members, but these guys have made their impact on the world, and they are just out here doing stuff. They literally are IndyFamous. I mean, everybody knows them, Eric and Marc Johnson, and they have so much under their belt. They just are the coolest people ever. So we're just gonna shoot today and talk about just lots of fun stuff.
PG episode.
Yeah, I've been thinking, it's hard for me not to cuss, but I'm just gonna, because I have so many students tuning in, so I'm gonna try to,
whoa.
like any of my people on my show can say and do whatever they want, but yeah. I'm gonna try to not be like bleep 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 expletives. So here's a little background about the Johnson brothers.
Give us the rundown.
Since 2000, the Pop Machine has hosted recording sessions for music legends and emerging artists, including Visual Love from the 2013 Grammy-nominated Best R&B Album, Better, by Chrisette Michele, Motown Records, Everything, by Ace Hood featuring Yo Gotti from the Billboard #1 R&B and Hip Hop, Billboard #1 Rap Album, Billboard 200 Top 10 Album, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Island Def Jam / We the Best Music Group, and Bruised and Tattooed by American Bombshell, EMP label group. The Pop Machine was designed and built by co-founder Terry L. Monday and his Monday Design Works firm. Principals Eric Clay Johnson and Marc Johnson are producers, mixers, songwriters, recording artists who have worked with the Airborne Toxic Event, American Bombshell, the Yvette Brothers, Chrisette Michele, which is Better, Grammy nomination for Best R&B Album, Grammy 2013, the Dandy Warhols, Eric Dill, Jane Jensen, John Waite, Jurassic 5, Machine Guns and Motorcycles, The Madeira, Matt Kearney, Monofiction, The Neighborhood, Pat Denzio, Rita Ora, Sunvolt, Supergrass, Tiffany, Tokyo Police Club, and Wonder Drug.
I wish I had a blowhorn.
So everybody, welcome to the Renée Michelle Merrifield Show. Eric and Marc Johnson.
Wow, that's quite an intro, Renee.
Y'all deserve even more than that. I mean, that's the simplified version. There's Mark. Yeah, so everybody, this is Mark Johnson, one of the two twins. So who came out first, Eric or Mark?
Eric.
Eric came out first. Okay, do we have Eric on the line as well? Let's see, Eric.
Should switch over when he talks.
Hello.
There he is. Eric Klee Johnson, everybody. Woo! Yes, you guys, this is so much fun. So, like, how are you guys doing? First of all, I mean, I don't mean to talk about the coronavirus. I know everyone's heard enough about it, but how are you guys doing during this time? Like, you guys doing all right?
We're sheltering in place.
Yes.
Correct answer.
But, I think what's super cool is I think both Eric and I are working.
Yes.
So we have some projects that we're doing either at the pop machine or at home, but alone. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Eric, what are you working on right now?
I'm mixing an EP for The Common. I'm doing edits for our American Bombshell album that we're working on together. And that's really the things in front of me. I just finished. It's interesting. 2 records just got back from mastering: Sidney Page and the Midnight Fire, and Tay Bronson. So, the beat goes on, so to speak. I mean, we've done so much remotely for years, but there's nothing like being in the same room with people. And when cool people are in the room, molecules move differently, and it's better to be in person than in virtual status. But I
wish I could have you guys here, for the show, but we'll bring you on again. But this pandemic is crazy. Like, what can you do, right? But I'm just grateful that we have technology like this, that we can, talk seamlessly like this. It's crazy.
Yes, I love the technology.
Yes, Jolliffe is obsessed with the technology.
Can't help it.
Technology.
Jason loves tech.
Yes, that's so cool. So
there
you
are
guys,
my tools.
Being a producer, you can really work from anywhere. It's not like you have to. I mean, obviously, you love your recording studio, the Pop Machine, which, by the way, folks, Grammy award-winning. These guys are Grammy award-winning peoples. They have so much under their belt. It's crazy. You guys are just like the best.
Just for the sake of clarity.
Yes. Okay. Clarify.
We've never won a Grammy.
Grammy nominated.
We worked on a Grammy-nominated album, Chrisette Michelle's Better album that. We did that in 2013, and it was nominated for a Grammy in the Best R&B category, and unfortunately lost to Alicia Keys' Girl on Fire. But
oh my God! Well, if that's runner-up to Girl on Fire, like what? That's crazy, though. I mean, Alicia Keys. This girl is on fire. But we still.
It was an honor just to be nominated, I'm sure.
Yeah, and just running up against that huge ass song. I mean, like we're gonna. Like, you guys are going to win so many Grammys. We're all going to, it's happening. Like, we have the plans in the works and stuff.
Although it's not a competition, right? Or is it? How do you feel about that? Is that is that a good thing for the creative arts and music and, even movies and stuff like that? Or is it kind of like, meh?
No, it's not. I mean, it's like, how can you evaluate
something so subjective.
Battle of the Bands or American Idol or even films. I mean, like you mix. I guess Grammys are somewhat I don't know, categorized, which I don't even know if that's a good thing. But I mean, how can you compare an R&B album to a punk album to a country record? Similarly, in film, how can you why are comedies ever nominated for best films? I'm not into the whole beauty pageantization of music that's happened, and it's happened certainly on the international level with shows like The Voice and American Idol. It's happened locally with things like Battle of the Bands in a club. It's like, I'm just not a fan of that. Go enjoy let the arts enrich your life, and you decide what you like. You don't need a panel of so-called experts to tell you what's good.
Right, right. And it's just so subjective too, like, just down to the very judges, right? Maybe, potentially. So I agree, and I think it is just
I'm sure there's no
subjective,
bias. I'm sure there's no bias.
but still crazy that you guys have been, alongside like just such a huge, you guys have, I always swear that you are famous people magnets. I always see you posting with famous people and you just always tend to run into them or be friends with them. And you guys are just all around classy, awesome guys, just always putting in the work, like working your butts off all the time, doing what you love. And that's crazy good. I love that.
It's not work if you love it, right?
Exactly. I can't believe people work and do stuff that they don't love. That must be really miserable. That's why I smile 24/7, because I'm just happy. I'm like, yes, I get to do what I love. I'm doing music as a profession, and that's all I ever wanted. So, do you guys feel the same way? Like, you guys, we'll get to, your whole thing, but you guys have been performing and doing this professionally since you were teenagers. So this is really cool.
We feel very fortunate, very, very blessed to still be able to do it, to still have people who want to work with us and who we want to work with. And it's great. We're very, very lucky. I consider myself, one of the luckiest people on earth, frankly. It's amazing what we're just so fortunate to still be able to be participating, and working hard is a big part of that, frankly.
Yeah, and that's something that I really admire about you guys, is that your work ethic is just out of this world. You are always, doing what you love. You always just notching tallies or whatever of just successful things, boom, 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 and you guys are always after just the coolest thing ever. So you guys are both recording engineers and producers. So for the viewers that may not know, what does that entail? What do you guys like? What's that like being a recording engineer and producer?
Well, really, it's an extension of being a musician and a songwriter and an artist. Marc and I started playing guitars when we were, I think, 14 years old, and I think we played our first gig. Marc, how old were we when we played our first gig?
84. It was in 1984, October of 84, so 14 maybe.
So
14,
we would have been
young.
15 then, I guess. But right. So, and ever since that time, we've been gigging. We've always been in bands. We were very, very motivated. We were very inspired. And then, that leads to learning how to play an instrument. It means learning how to write a song. Ultimately, it means learning how to record. And for us, Marc and I walked into our first studio when I think we were 15, maybe 16 years old. I knew we couldn't drive. And it was Skeet's Music Company, which is Jeff and Charlie Bushor's dad. Charlie Bushor, a gained notoriety for being the drummer of the Y Store, and Skeet was an Indiana music legend who played in the Boys Next Door. And Jeff Bushor, when he was, good grief, maybe we were 16, he was 15. I don't remember the ages, but they had a recording studio, which was kind of unheard of. Now everyone has a studio on their laptop, so it's not really that big of a deal. But trust me, you
guys started in the beginning.
I think it was 86. It was a huge deal. And I remember, and I know Marc's experience is very similar to mine. I walked in there and it blew my mind. It just blew me away. The equipment, the vibe, being around all these creative people, hearing your music. I remember the first time I ever heard the Lexicon 200 digital reverb, and it just blew me away.
Yeah.
I go, my God, I never want to leave. I want to come here and stay and never leave. And then Marc and I had a lot of different recording experiences over the years. Our first record came out in 1989. We recorded it when we were 19 years old. It came out when we were 20 years old. We worked with an extremely talented music producer named Nick Stevens. And he did a sort of a Trevor Horn style of making a record, which is to say, taking our ideas and programming them and doing things like this. And that's cool to a point, but then I think Mark and I really got inspired by Dave Stewart of the Eurythmics. We saw
I love the Eurythmics.
Yeah, and so Dave Stewart is the co-songwriter with Annie Lennox and so forth. And we saw a show called, I think it was Long Way Home, and it was about Dave Stewart recording this Russian singer named Boris Grebenshchikov, who was in a band called Aquarium, and it just really inspired us. And we were able to see, there's a different way to make a record than the way we made a record. Mm-hmm. That's made perhaps more creative, and it's more artist-centric, and that really shaped the way we make records and the way we think about music to this day. I mean, that's been, I don't know, 30 years ago.
Yeah. And I can imagine like those big boards back then, everything was different. You know what I mean? Like you said, not anyone, of course, but you have like GarageBand and things like that people are doing on their iPhones and stuff. But this is not, sure, they could make some stuff, but it's not like you guys. Like, you guys are used to the old kind of big giant boards. Of course, we've seen, when you recorded in London too, I noticed they had a big board, not recorded, but mastered.
I don't mean to be controversial. I don't think you need any of the big boards or anything. I mean, we have a really great studio, and we've worked in
you need that ear though, and that talent.
Years.
The ear is important, which you guys have.
No, but that's all it is. I mean, and now you can make a record on a laptop that, 25 years ago you would have needed a 72 input SSL console and tape machine and racks of equipment to do. Now you can do it on a laptop. And so I don't believe the equipment
special gear
inhibits you. I don't think it helps. It's all about the pure talent and inspiration.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I totally agree. So Mark, what do you think about that too, as well? Like, adding on to what Eric.
I agree. I concur. Really. Getting back to the studio aspect of it, the studio really did inspire Eric and I, and working with all those talented people who are still incredibly talented people. Some are still participating in music, some are. But we never sort of went out and started to like, hey, let's run a commercial recording studio venture. That was really not the initial aspiration. I think the initial reason for it is we wanted to record ourselves in a way that would have been how we envision our band sounding, versus, like Eric talked about, the producer that made the first Exclusive Fashion record. And he kind of made the record that the way he wanted it to sound. He was a very talented guy, and the people who worked on the record were very talented as well.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But I don't know if it was a true representation of the band that we were.
Right.
And I think the reason why we first started buying some like gear to record ourselves, it was just to try to get a more true, honest, and less interrupted representation of our musical ideas. That was the idea. And it really wasn't until, and Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, but until we got a 16-track machine and like a proper studio built down at a basement in a house in Broadway, to where, Eric recorded artists there at first, Frank Gaines bands and a lot of artists, the great Ralph Jeffers record, one of my favorite records that, have ever come out of, the sort of, our studio thing that was made in the basement. And so that's kind of how it evolved, to where people would go, hey, your records sound good, record us. But we never kind of set out to go, let's make a commercial recording studio.
Just like that process was really important for you.
Yeah, and now the irony is we never record ourselves, where we used to be the primary artist and it was the primary reason, now we very, very rarely do that. And certainly in the pop machine, it's very busy.
Yeah, like I love seeing just, you guys had me you guys had me come into the band when I think I was 20, so I'm 27 now. So we've been just like family forever, and it's just so cool to just always keep learning more about you guys. And I love seeing the old pictures of you guys. You know, you guys are twin brothers, like identical twin brothers, and just seeing how you guys were just rocking it out. You know, when you, like you said, when you started when your first show was when you were 15, right? Is that what you said?
I loved your video montage, Renee.
Oh.
I don't know, if you and Jason put that together, that was wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. You know, like you guys deserve even more, like more hype. You know what I mean? Like you guys deserve all the hype. This is crazy. You guys are badass people. Like I don't even know how to explain it, but you guys are just doing the damn thing. So it's so cool to have you on the show.
Sometimes you can't explain badass, right? You just
can't.
have to witness it.
Exactly. Like you guys are so cool. I mean, look at what y'all got behind you. Y'all just chilling in the studio, and Eric's chilling and got his little pottery and like his guitar. And so Marc Johnson right here, he is the guitarist, and Eric
spun all these things out on a pottery wheel last night. So
those are you spun them yourself.
I do it in my free time.
Multi-talented.
Very good work.
Thank you.
That is good work. I've always
I built
wanted
this
to try
guitar,
that.
too.
Like moving the
Don't let the
pottery.
Gibson logo fool you.
Yeah, these boys are big Gibson lovers, and they just love the just classic, timeless guitars. Eric Clay Johnson is the bassist, but you also play, guitar and stuff. But bass is your baby, right? You just rock it on that bass. Hey.
Can I show a really cool guitar, Renee?
Please. Is this your dotted ES335? Because that's my dream guitar.
I have that, but that's not what this is. So.
Oh yes, the Kalamazoo.
Yeah. So what this is for people who may know Robert Johnson,
another twin brother, another brother of yours.
No, but would love it. Robert Johnson is the king of the Delta blues, who, as legend have it, was not a great musician. And went away for a couple years and apprenticed with a pretty good guitar player.
Wasn't that named in?
Sold his soul at the crossroads to become this great guitar player. And when he came back after 2 years, he was this phenomenal guitar player, singer-songwriter.
You already know he sold his soul.
Well, and that legend has it. And he recorded these songs, like 30 songs in San Antonio, Texas, in a hotel. And the one of two pictures that are known of Robert Johnson, one of them, he's playing this guitar.
Oh, wow.
It's the Kalamazoo KG14.
Yeah.
I love it that it has some Robert Johnson vibrations and history to it.
I've played that guitar when we had band practice, and I absolutely love the guitar. It's actually got like a neck that's like the back of the wood is kind of almost like a triangle, almost pointed.
You're right. That's right.
It's a very vintage guitar, and you got it for Jody got it for you for your 30th anniversary, right, or something like that.
15.
15. There we go. But that's just, I love that guitar. One of my fave guitars that I'm saving up for is the one that you most often play, is the Gibson dotted ES335. Love that guitar.
Eric, you have that there. Is that what you're
right
saying?
here? This is not Mark's.
Oh boy!
Marc has a cooler one, but this is a nice guitar. It's nice, very nice.
And you guys really rock the Gretsch guitars too.
I will show this one as well from the studio. Now, this is not the one I play live.
Yeah, but it's got kind of that jazz hollow body.
I'm trying to get the camera right here. Yeah, this is a
12 string. Or is it?
It is.
Oh, wow.
It's a 1967 ES33512 12 string guitar. But it's strung as a 6. We probably need to get it restrung as a 12. But originally, a good buddy of Eric and I's, who great musician and guitar store guru, Andy Carroll, knew that I wanted a 335, but I just couldn't afford them. They're super expensive. They still are. Now they're completely out of reach, from a financial perspective. But he was working in Mars Music or Sam Ash at the time. It might have been Sam Ash. It might have been Mars. I'm not sure. But this was on a stand, and he said, "You like that guitar?" I go, "Yeah, it's great." I go, "But I don't have $1,200." And so he sold this guitar to me for $800.
Oh my
A
gosh.
1967 Gibson 335.
And
And
it's a
so at
12
the
string.
time, I had never had a 335, so I strung it as a 6, and this became a primary guitar I played while
love
Eric
that
and I
one.
were in the band Wonder Drug, and I loved this guitar. And then years later, Eric and I's, kind of musical mentor, Marc Moran, sold me one of his red 335s, and that's what I play with live. But Eric and I, we love Gibson 335s. They're
it's
the coolest guitar.
It's the one I want for sure. Like that red. I love the cherry fade red. Not fade, but just the kind of the deeper red cherry. What's the difference between? So the dotted is more kind of elite because it's got the dotted frets, right? So is that just?
Well,
what?
I mean, not to get too guitar geeky, but the early 60s, like the 1961, I think through 64, I'm sure there'll be some guitar geeks that correct me, though they were dot necks, and they were, widely considered and still are the most rare, and same, I think they're maybe even in the 50s, but some of the most rare 335s and most desirable 335s ever made. What Eric has there, Eric, yours is a dot neck, right? That's a...
Yeah, it's a reissue, though. I don't want to lead people on to think
Yeah,
that it's
no,
something.
I know.
You guys are silly.
It's sometimes referred to as a 335. When we've worked with British artists, they refer to these as 335s. And
335.
Anything that we would call, like in America, 335.
Right. It's like separated there.
If anyone knows what a 414 microphone is, the Brits would call it the 414. It's just a nuance.
I like that,
this
actually.
Is a dot neck, but it's not. It's really not a vintage. This is sometimes referred to as a Memphis. I think a Memphis.
It's pretty. I love that red. It's a little more like bright. Maybe. Is that the same color as yours?
It's similar in color to Mark's. It's just not. Mark's is.
His is
really
worn. He's been playing that one.
It's older wood. There's something about vintage guitars. Just the plastic, the pick guards, the switches, the steel. It's just, there's something about a vintage guitar has so much mojo in it. And not that this doesn't have mojo, but this is just, what I like about 335s is like, I can play around the house with it, right?
So it's like an acoustic, but it's really electric.
It sort of functions as a sort of a quasi-acoustic, but it plays like an electric. So this is sort of the household strummer right here.
Very cool. Y'all look good.
Strummer.
The strummer. Oh man.
Are you phoning Renee? What's going on here, Ren?
What do you mean? What am I doing?
Just calling the lifeline.
Are you phoning?
We're communicating in silence.
I don't know when the camera's on me or off me, so I'm just trying to be on my best behavior.
We're flipping around.
You should be. I've got 8 sources I'm switching between, so we're coordinating some things behind the scenes.
Cameras inside my home.
Jason, I'm very impressed with the production value of the show. Quite impressive, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, he produces a few podcasts, like 8 or 7 or 8.
Multi-channel, if you will.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, live switching, so much fun.
We're gonna have fun with Renee's show,
Yeah, and I can't wait to get you guys in person. As soon as this quarantine's lifted, I'd love to have you guys in on the show.
Year.
We'll have some Don Julio 1942. We'll have some drinks. It'll be fun. This has been obviously amazing, but it's like you said before, Eric. It is cool in person as well. But I'm just glad to get you guys on here and stuff. And I still have a lot of questions for you. Like, we
got concert footage too. Do we want to see any of that stuff?
We do have some concert footage. So everybody, okay, so. These guys are incredible. They have been in just like, okay, so there's just so much that you guys have been in. What's like, should we start with like Wonder Drug, or do you guys want to talk about like before that when you guys were, I have a clip of Wonder Drug of that awesome music video you guys were in the driving around and stuff like, if you don't mind showing a little clip of that. But yeah, I was gonna ask about like, so you guys like teach recording, teach producing, right, Butler, or was that just? No,
yeah. We're adjunct faculty at Butler, and it's the theory and techniques of audio recording. And I mean, really, I think our role is more of one where we're showing the practical application rather than sort of the theoretical concepts. of sound recording. You know, I mean, it's like, it's one thing to see a sound wave and understand signal flow and things like this. It's quite another to sort of apply, I would say, more artistic techniques to the medium. And that's really what we do. And so we've done this a couple times, but we will bring an artist, recording artist, and we will record a track and really stack it from, you know, we're going to record the rhythm section and the guitars and the bass and the vocals and the lead vocals and overdubs and editing and mixing. And by the end of the semester, the students then will take the tracks and mix it, and that will be their grade. And in this semester, we were fortunate enough to have multiple artists, and it's really cool. It's really great. I mean, we love to, it's sort of our way of giving back. I mean, it's really not pro bono, so it's hardly giving back, but I mean, it's our way of sort of teaching the trade. That's one thing that has been lost. And with the, you know, elimination of commercial recording studios, there's really not this continuum or passing on of knowledge techniques. And, you know, if we can do that, awesome. That's really what we're all about. Because, I mean, we had the good fortune, and maybe it's the time to talk about it, maybe it's not. And Marc had mentioned Marc Moran, who's our musical mentor. We have a studio mentor, a guy named Mike Clark, who owns Southern Tracks in Atlanta. And I mean, it's, people always talk about the 90s in Seattle. People should also talk about Atlanta in the 90s, because that's where basically all of those records were recorded or mixed. I mean, really? Records by Pearl Jam and Stone Temple Pilots and Rage Against the Machine and Matthew Sweet and Bob Dylan and Lifehouse and Train. And I mean, the list goes on. I mean, it's all done by this guy named Brendan O'Brien at a studio called Southern Tracks. And so our studio is very much inspired by what we learned from Mike Clark at Southern Tracks. I mean, Terry Monday built our studio, and he's awesome. He's a genius and a Renaissance man. But what we learned from Mike Clark shaped what we bought, what we, you know, everything from equipment to how we conduct sessions to all sorts of things. But I mean, having mentored, but like, I mean, in the absence of like people coming to a recording studio and meeting other people, I don't know how you get that knowledge. I guess YouTube videos.
I don't think you can, Eric. I don't think you can just be as good as you guys are. Like, I mean, yeah, people out there learn how to do this stuff, but I mean, to have the experience and knowledge and just the things that y'all together have done throughout the years, like that does, I mean, that just takes time to learn, and or you're not learn, but you guys have this experience.
You know, Eric raises a good point that I think the availability of technology is one thing, and it's great. You know, it's great that the technology is there at your fingertips, but that alone does not make a record, and that alone does not make a record producer. And you know, when Eric and I do projects together or independently, I mean, you know, we're very much involved. We very much take a vested interest in the role of producer, meaning that, you know, whether it's American Bombshell, and you can ask those guys rather than ask us, but, you know, we spend a lot of time talking about the songs. We spend a lot of time talking about how the vocals should be properly set up to make the chorus impact in a powerful way. You know, we listen to demos or what have you and give feedback. That's not something that you get with a software package that you have on your laptop computer. And so I think the overall value proposition of the Pop Machine, and you know, the one person that we really need to talk about a lot right now is Terry Monday.
He's awesome.
And so Terry Monday is Eric and I's partner, and really sort of partner in not only in the recording studio, but a partner in crime for 30 plus years. He was our band manager. It was because of him how we were able to build a recording studio, because he had this incredible knowledge of construction and design, and he also was smart enough to consult with other audio engineers and putting his own spin on it and his own creative stamp on things. And without him, there would probably be no Mark and Eric Johnson in the music business. It would be different, perhaps not, but he played such an integral role in our band, still clearly plays an integral role in the studio. But he was really our band managers as well as attorney. Mm-hmm. Having your corner when Eric and I were very, very young. We were 17 years old when he was managing our band, and he was just a great influence on us. We learned so much from him. And
he's a classy, just nice guy.
We could go through the history, but we actually had built the Pop Machine was actually our 4th studio location. 3 out of the 4 were actually built by Terry and Eric and I helping as worker bees, and Terry's wife Cinda helping as well. But the first studio was at 5707 Haverford in Sobro, y'all. We love that studio.
South Broad Ripple.
Yes, and then the second studio was in the heart of Broad Ripple at 6164 Primrose, and that's where a lot of the records that I mentioned earlier were done. Mm-hmm. And then for quite a while, this is the craziest story in the world, but Terry owned that house, or actually Terry's girlfriend and then wife, Cinda, owned that house. And they sold it, and they moved to a bigger house. The buyer of the house decided that it would be okay if we remained in the basement operating a recording studio.
I love that.
I mean, just think about that for a minute.
It's Jesus
Somebody
Christ.
purchases a new home and goes, you know what?
You
I
can
want the
stay.
studio to remain.
It's because they believe
and
in
I mean,
you.
Eric, how long were we there with Andy owning the house? Andy came in
a few years.
I don't remember. I am laughing so hard at this story because it seems so insane and irrational. I mean, I just moved into this house, and if someone said, hey, good news, there are these guys who are record producers and they're going to have a studio in your house, I'd be like, there is no way that's happening.
They believed in you.
Also, you guys got to understand, where the Pop Machine is obviously a separate structure, a private entrance, a garage to load gear in and out of, et cetera, et cetera. This was a man's home, okay?
His literal home.
Meaning that the studio is in the basement. So think about this for just a moment. People are coming into the home, bands loading their gear down your staircase, drum sets, guitar amplifiers,
all the time, basically.
Hangers on, girlfriends. I mean, can you imagine the cretins that were coming in and out of there? And but this guy, Andy Kane, was so generous.
Yeah.
And he really liked it. He really liked it. And, it certainly wasn't a money-making endeavor. I mean, we did cut him in on a percentage of what we made there, but good Lord, the sacrifice that he made, it should really be Saint Andy Kane, Saint Andrew Kane. I think it is. So, but anyway, so then that was our second studio. And then
I think a song Jane says, I think St. Andrew is actually in reference to Andy Kane.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. That's such a good, friend, really.
Yeah, and then Terry Monday also designed a house that I built next door to Terry that's still there, and was the builder there. And again, Eric and I and others were the help. Mm-hmm. And when that happened, we moved the studio into my basement. And that was while the Pop Machine was being built. And we recorded tons of records down there. I mean, so many records.
Yeah, I mean, actually, Wonder Drug High some of it is cut at Andy Kane's basement.
While the Pop Machine was being built. Wow.
Mixed, it's overdubbed and mixed in Marc's basement. And a lot of it's cut there, too.
Yeah.
I mean, the Sindicato Black album is done there. Transmatic was done there. Good God. I mean,
a lot of out records.
There's so many, I can't even remember. I mean,
Electro Lab, that was a good record.
I wonder how many you guys have done.
Electro Lab.
Oh, right. Electro Lab. Good God. Yeah. By the way, the drummer of Electro Lab founded a little company called ZipRecruiter. Hey, there's D-Rock. We're seeing some filming, some video.
And I wish I had
here.
some footage of the Pop Machine, y'all. The Pop Machine is the most incredible studio. I mean, it's so vintage and awesome, and you walk in there and you just feel like you can do anything in the Pop Machine. I mean, it's like a classy, world-renowned studio.
Can I interrupt for a moment, Renée?
Of course.
D-Rock, Derek Muncie, who's been a lifelong friend of Mark and I, and we're finally getting a chance to work with him after all these years.
Thank God.
He has the best quote, and he said, about the studio, he goes, "You guys have the tools to change the world."
Damn, that's
and
awesome.
Think about that. You have the tools to change the world. And what he means by that is there's all the technology and all of the, equipment and know-how, whatever, to make something really profound and really artistically impactful that could actually change culture, which could in fact change the world. I mean, to me, I love that. I want to put that on the front page of our website, and I love that so much.
That is so cool. And it's like, you really do. And it's not like, it's like you guys were born with this thing, you know what I mean? I feel like I was born with this thing, but it's a little different than what y'all got going on. But you guys were born with this thing of musicality and just that ear of production, engineering, and producing, creating, songwriting. You guys are so talented, such talented musicians. And like you said at the beginning, just it stems from being a musician. And like, I feel that connection when we're on stage and, when we're performing as Monofiction. You guys, like, I don't know, there's just like this great, it's like family bond where we're just up there jamming, and you guys, I know you always have had that, just that glow about you, and that's so cool. Like I was saying earlier, I love seeing photos of y'all with your twin brothers, just like crazy long hair, and in the 80s, like you guys were releasing records and you were living life on tour in 1980, right? So I mean that, and before that, really, probably.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh yeah, I don't know. We probably toured from 87, summer of 87, until 96, I guess. Is that right, Eric? Somewhere around
there. True. I mean, and so
goals.
yeah. I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, it was a different scene then too. I mean,
right.
We made records, and we weren't. There are bands who are huge. I mean, we weren't as big as U2 or REM or The Cure or The Cult or whomever.
The best is yet to come.
But like in many ways, we were part of that same scene, and in some ways, we played the same clubs, we went to the same college radio stations, we toured incessantly. And really, in the end, what we're interested in is the creation. I mean, we love playing live, but I mean, Mark and I are really passionate about recording music, and we love records. I mean, if you think about, and there are exceptions to what I'm about to say, but what I'm about to say is this, is that you're defined as your best moment on record. And you can say, hey, but what about Grateful Dead? Okay, you got me, because the Grateful Dead probably has more memorable performances live than they did on record. So that would be the exception. But I mean, to put on record, on whatever, the digital file that ends up streaming in 2020, that is how you will ultimately be defined as a musical.
And how you'll be remembered too, like your legacy more so too. That's kind of how I feel. It's like having all these songs, as me as a singer-songwriter, it's like what you produce out there, and the best, just like you said, the best thing that you leave, that's your legacy. That's what people are going to hear after you leave as musicians, as far as that goes. And
I mean, I think so. I mean, and so what we try to do is we try to take an artist and work with that artist and to determine what are the strengths of the artist and expose those and amplify those.
Mm-hmm. And you guys got the ear for it, man.
Well, I mean, that's here again. That's a totally subjective thing. But
well,
I mean,
it shows in your work, though. I mean, you guys push people to be their best, and then you bring out their best, and you guys have this thing where you just create good content. Like, it's rare.
Well, we honor. I mean, I think what if I will take any compliment, it would be I feel that we try to honor the essence of the artist. We try to take what the artist is all about and try to just amplify it. It's really, I think, what we do best. And, you know, it's not like Marc had referenced a record that we made when we were 19 and it was really kind of someone else's record. We try not to do that. I mean, we really try to be
true to
a producer that's very supportive of the artist and takes the artist's ideas and hopefully in some way, I don't want to say enhance them because that sounds a little bit arrogant, but just take what they do best and
make it better.
I mean, hopefully, at least translate it onto a recorded medium. And that's harder. That's harder than you think it is to do. It really is. I mean, people think, oh, fuck it. You know, you're great live. You can get on the recording studio and get on the mic and do it. And it's amazing. It's not always that way. It can be that way, but it's not always that way.
So many
and
factors.
We do records where it's super produced, and then we'll do other records that, you know, we'll have a couple mics on the drum set and recording live, kind of like it would be if we were in, you know, the 1960s, early 70s.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and you guys have been doing this since you were so young. I mean, you guys started with Exquisite Fashion, releasing your first album, was it 1989? We have a little clip for that. Do you mind if I play that, brothers?
Go ahead.
Yeah, just a little tiny clip of that. So, I mean, 1989, right? So, I mean, it's just crazy. You guys would, and there's young twins.
By the way, if anyone knows what a synclavier is.
Yes, you guys have. Oh my God, you guys have seriously made such a mark, and it's crazy. Oh, there's my twins. Oh, look at the twins. Yes. Oh, can anybody guess who's who? I can tell.
Look at him brooding.
Oh, look at that long blonde hair, y'all. Yes. I love it. Clank. Clank. Oh. So this is 1989.
My hair is getting bigger just listening to this song.
Which is hard because you're bald.
Which is really hard, yeah. Studio Cam.
Running down the corridor, every footstep echoes pain.
And so something else I want to ask you guys too, in the 1990s, you guys played in 15 minutes and put out a series of records and continued touring, playing CBGB and the very first X Fest ever. So, like, what was that like playing in the very first X Fest ever, or playing in a band like that? That's so cool.
Super cool. Yeah. At the time of the X Fest, there was a lot of huge bands on that bill. There was Bush was on the bill. It was Weezer on the bill too. There was a bunch of huge bands. You know, the X Fest, the first couple X Fest had like literally the biggest names in alternative rock, and it was quite an honor. And you know, we really owe a debt of gratitude to, you know, what is now Alt 103, but then X 103. And
I love those shows.
Yeah, a lot of people there. You know, God, I'd hate to almost name one because I'd have to name them all, but guys like Scott Jameson and Michael Young and Nikki and Adam Ritz and Wankin O'Brien and
Michael Young.
Michael Young, obviously I said yeah, but Michael's a huge supporter of us. But that station really got behind our band, and it made a big impact for us.
Yeah, it's 103.
That's
huge,
what's
guys.
Interesting about that is that I think history's not been kind to that radio station. I mean,
how it had to change.
And for full disclosure, I mean, obviously we have a personal relationship with some of those folks just because we know them over the years, but they did things for the local scene that they did not have to do. They would put on bands that had indie records out on huge shows, and they would make a big deal about it and announce who they were. I mean, they really did a lot to promote the local scene. that is something. I mean, and now in today's day and age where everything's streamed and everything's digital and it's a different world.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you, X103, and I know Scott played a big role in the Y Store's success. We did so many things because of Scott Jameson and that team over there. We have to mention Lenny Diana. My God, would be remiss if we didn't say him. We just did so much back in those days. I mean, and we kind of what's interesting about 15 Minutes is 15 Minutes was not really popular in Indianapolis where we live. We had much greater success in other parts of the country. And, we did 3 records, 2 of which were released. And it's really where we learned to record. It's where we learned to produce records. And it was an incredible time. It was the 90s. And I mean, I know Mark, I speak for Mark, we're very proud of the work we did.
Mm-hmm. As you
and
should be.
It sort of set the stage for what we did in the years that followed.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure. And so you guys were playing, so Wonder Drug is kind of, and y'all, I mean, I don't know if y'all would consider Wonder Drug famous, but I do. And everyone that I know knows of Wonder Drug. You guys were highly popular, very well known, and so it consisted of the twin brothers and the drummer, which I don't know the name of, and then Kelly Milligan, which we love her. And you guys played in Lollapalooza in 2003, and you guys had done so many other things, like you had songs in the Volkswagen commercials, right? You opened for the Colt, Buck Cherry, Sugar Ray, Veruca Salt, etc., etc. You guys were killing it. And that's kind of where Monofiction, which is the band that you guys invited me into so many years ago, thank God, I love you for that. I mean, that's kind of where it derived from, right? It was Wonder Drug.
Yeah, it was really the first time I think that Eric and I took full control of a band unit. And, regrettably, we didn't do that years earlier because it was like almost immediately. And, the irony too is Eric and I went and got day jobs and did Wonder Drug, where it's like, look, we're going to put our heart and soul into this, but we're not going to use it as an income source. We're going to get day jobs and do this on the side. Almost immediately had a far greater level of success and achieved so many more things than any of our previous bands times 10.
Yeah, you guys had some seriously cool gigs.
When we were mentioning Scott Jameson and Michael Young and Nikki and Adam and Ed and O'Brien, Dave O'Brien and Don Stuck as well. The fact of the matter is they were way more supportive of Wonder Drug than even 15 Minutes. We owe a huge debt of gratitude to those guys.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what's some top moments you can recall from Wonder Drug? I know you guys were on all just a bunch of different shows, and like I said, you freaking Buck Cherry, Sugar Ray, that's crazy.
I mean, all those were cool, and Lollapalooza was cool, obviously, but I mean, just playing the patio and playing, at CBGB's in New York was fun. And
yes.
We got to play at the Palace Theater in Hollywood and the Bomb Factory in Dallas and the Cabaret Metro in Chicago and the Double Door in Chicago and the Elbow Room in Chicago. I mean, there's just so many great little moments that just playing the clubs.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, right? Just like that. Oh, see, I love this video. Look at you guys. It's so cool. Who filmed this? I forget. I remember.
There's a guy named Nate Weaver. Yeah, Nate Weaver. He's a filmmaker in Los Angeles.
I absolutely love the way this is filmed.
He's done many videos. Go check him out. This was just the beginning for Nate Weaver, but he went on to huge success. NateWeaver.net or .com. He's a real talent.
And I think some of our viewers watching that maybe follow me don't know how much of a legends you guys are. So I didn't really, I'm all about whoa, but I mean, for real, you guys are freaking legends. You're indie legends, you're rock star legends, and I can't wait for more to come. There's Kelly Milligan and Mark Johnson and Eric's on bass, and you guys are just who's the drummer? I don't recognize him, but you guys are just incredible people and talented artists. You guys have so much under your belt. It's ridiculous. It's so cool. I love this video.
Like a cat riding in the back window there.
I know, and this is all downtown Indy, which Indy is my heart and soul. So I love that this is filmed downtown Indy. So cool. You guys, I don't know if I hold on, I'll finish my thought in a second. Oh, there's that circle. I love that part. Hey, love that guitar. Always rocking the coolest. And the Johnson brothers just got 2 new Gretsch guitars that are alike. Eric's is the bass Gretsch, and Marc's is the regular, 6-string, and it's white Gretsch with gold plated. I forget the story, but the gold has something to do with Beatles drum set or something like that. Am I right on that? Or did I make that up?
Well, I'm sorry, what was that?
Your 2 Gretsch guitars, how you got the white bass, and then Marc got the white regular 6-string. So what's the story about the Gretsch guitars? Was it like the gold trim?
No, they were a birthday gift this year for our 50th birthday from Terry Monday. He bought us matching Gretsch White Falcons. Marc's showing the guitar right now.
Mm-hmm. And something about the gold trim.
Extraordinary guitars.
Oh, they're extraordinary. You guys look. I wish I had some pictures of us jamming with that. Like the twins jamming on these matching white Gretsches are. It's like, okay, you guys better work. But I love it, and I love how just over the years you guys have morphed and you've always, from the beginning, just put your heart and soul in this. I respect people that have done this from a young age. It's like that. I mean, I just respect you guys and love you guys so much. It's so cool. And I can't wait to do more stuff with you guys. So for the viewers, Eric and Marc Johnson and I, and very talented drummer Tony Medeiros, who has won very big drumming. He's the drummer for our band Monofiction. He's won very huge drum, number one drummer in the whole world, basically, award. But I mean,
Renee, you want to know something that's pretty cool?
Yes.
The song that you just played, even though Adam White is the drummer in the video, the drummer on the recording is none
Tony.
Other than Tony Medeiros.
Tony Medeiros.
And then here is the White Falcon that you spoke of, and
yeah, so what's with that gold trim? Wasn't it have something to do with the Beatles? I forget. I may be making that up out of my butt.
The Beatles did, they played Gretsch guitars. They played a 61, we could go into all this other stuff, but George originally played what's called the 6122, which have it's similar to this where it looks like this, but in the F holds, they're like the F holds here, they're actually painted. On the guitar that George Harrison played. But yeah, they played Gretsch guitars, and then John Lennon played a Gretsch 6120 Country Gentleman Chet Atkins on Paperback Rider. So the Beatles played some Gretsches. I don't ever remember seeing them play a White Falcon. A lot of people have these. That's what this is called, is a Gretsch White Falcon. But
I love
people like Neil Young and Stephen Stills played one, and I just recently saw a video, a live performance, I should say, of Cage the Elephant.
Love them.
And he plays this exact guitar, which is like a reissue.
Yeah, I mean, I know I couldn't remember something. I thought you said about the gold trim. Something was that was special about that, but I have short-term memory loss. But
we love it. And Eric's bass is super cool.
Yeah, and Eric's bass's match is the same. So in just you guys, I wish I had footage of your guys' 50th party was huge, bumping, biggest party ever at Marc's house, and he hosted it, and literally there was so many people there, and literally everyone loves these guys. So you can imagine the party was insane, and we performed, Monofiction performed, and the twins are rocking on their twin Gretsch guitars, the twins with the twin guitars. So it was super cool. And you guys, this is a fun fact. I used to have my dad, I have a bunch of guitars. I'll have to, I got my studio downstairs for my voice lessons, and I have 15 guitars hanging on the wall. But I used to have a Gibson Flying V, and my dad painted it like Randy Rhoads with the polka dots, the black and white.
Oh, wow.
Or polka dot. And then I also had a Gibson Explorer, which I adored. And he painted it my dad won big awards. He had a car shop named named Mirror Image by Merrifield, and he just won, best painter in Indiana, and he got a bunch of awards. He painted, get this, he painted Ted Nugent's guitars. He painted the Insane Clown Posse's, a bunch of their violins and stuff.
That's random.
I know. He painted the Orange County Choppers, motorcycles. And who was it? Yeah, we got to meet Ted Nugent a bunch of times. We called him Uncle Teddy. But I had this Gibson Explorer that was like flame. It was not like that fake flame, like my heels.
It was actually
I was
on fire.
thinking about showing you guys my heels again, but girl, I can't reach up there because I'm old. But it was like actual fire, and so it got lost along the way. I'm finna get a new one and get those, make him paint that again. But it's cool.
If you ever want to get rid of the Flying V and Explorer,
never.
we will gladly negotiate something.
I know. I'm gonna save up for one, and I'm gonna save up for, an ES335 dotted as well. Electric violin, upright bass. I'm gonna get an actual harp too, like a big ass real harp, and I'm just gonna be like
Also with flames.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, we'll have my dad paint it. It'll be so cool.
Renee, we should probably talk you up a little bit too. Eric was the first one who sort of discovered you, I guess.
Well, it was J.J. Brown. I can't take
J.J. Browning.
J.J. Browning told me about you, and then that's how we met, right?
And I saw you guys. Your first show was with the Kaleidostars, right? At the Rathskeller, and so I came. Eric was like, "Girl, you gotta come. We're kind of interested maybe in you being in our band. You gotta come see us." So I came, and it was just instant connection, and I still remember that day. That was
you're
fun.
so talented, Renee. Not only a great singer, but can play so many instruments and just has such a love of music and life. It's refreshing to be around, someone with such a positive attitude and so talented too. So
you have a real feel for life. That's true. I mean, and so much of music is an expression of oneself. And, with you obviously have all the musical ability in the world, but inside you're a super soulful person. And it comes out in your music. It comes out in the way you sing. It comes out in the way you play music. And that's really, when Mark and I were looking at forming our next musical project, it just made so much sense. It was we're so fortunate to have that.
I'm fortunate to have you guys so much, and you guys have made such a beautiful impact on my life. And I was thinking about earlier, and then I forgot, but talking about quotes, I can't remember if it was Mark or Eric, but I'm sure you share this same belief, but one of y'all told me it's like the top 5 people you surround yourself with is kind of who you are, and who, that's who makes you your top 5 people that you surround yourself with. And that's you guys. And so you guys have impacted me and helped me become a strong musician more than I, ever could dream of being, and giving me great opportunities. And so Monofiction, half of Monofiction is in another band called Dude, and the wonderful Gloria Shandina, who's also in Monofiction, she stepped down from her lead singing position as Dude and gave it to me. And I'm just like, girl, I'm gonna give you $5 million when I'm eventually rich and famous. And Shandina is such a star to me. She's like the love of my life. Love the girl, and I just love our chemistry with our band Monofiction. As for the viewers that don't know, we opened up for Smash Mouth, and it was incredible. Like everybody loves Smash Mouth. The whole concert was just bumping. It was crazy. Did you guys love that experience or what? So much fun.
Yeah, it was great show.
Yeah, so much fun. I actually have some footage. Maybe we could just show a few little clippies from it. But shout out to my peoples. Shout out to Shandina Slayman. She is such a talented angel baby, and she's the lead female. Her and Mark are the lead female, or Mark and Shandina are the singers for Monofiction. And I play keys, Eric's on bass, Tony on drums. The chemistry for this band is just insane, and this is us opening up for Smash Mouth. It was just incredible. I absolutely loved it so much, and she's just amazing. Shandine is the best. There she is. Oh, in the shadows of my life, in the time Okay, go to the next song. Let's see where we'll show a few different. This is the night we opened it for Smash Mouth, and
great video. I've never seen this before. Great.
Yeah, we
12 cameras.
Yeah, we had Jolliffe on set doing the 12 camera thing, and
I was on stage with you guys at one point.
I know, and there was a few pictures from professional photographers with Jason. Someone said something about is that Gilligan or whatever, because his little hat.
Yes, it was.
I'm like, y'all are crazy. But I absolutely adore playing with y'all on that stage, and just the fun gigs we have is just amazing. It's so much fun. We've done so many cool gigs as Monofiction. I remember we were at Birdie's, where Prince himself did an undercover gig at, which not many people know of. And that is just so super cool. Like, we played on the same stage as Prince. Guys.
No big deal.
Oh, I can't. Prince is the best, right?
We love Prince.
We love Prince.
Cool footage.
Yeah, here, there's a few more. Jal, you got the next one rolling for me? Mm-hmm. Yup. Yeah, so many people, so much fun. And I remember blowing up like 20 big ass balloons, not balloons, what are they called, like beach balls, right before we went on. Girl almost passed out because I'm trying to, I should have brought a pump or something, but they actually didn't use the beach balls until Smash Mouth came on, in which everyone was just
That's a really
going
long shot of your
crazy.
shoes.
I know, I'm obsessed with my
You're
heels.
obsessed.
Yeah, so much fun. Here's another song, Sugar. I love the keys on this one. I'm just like, with the arpeggiator.
Lots of hugs, lots of love.
You can tell our fans really like, they're happy, they're loving the music. Just sing, live music does something for people. They just like I said before, the chemistry on stage with this band, it's just so incredible. I love it. Oh, there's Eric's move. I love that. That's so great. Sugar. Sing it. Yeah, so you can see the crowd is just loving it, and they're just dancing along. People made signs and everything, and so much fun. And let's hit the last point there. There was one more that I love, and this is a 35-minute video, but I just wanted to show a few little clips of it. This is the last little clip from that. Get it, Renee. Hey. Oh. And this was a newer song that I don't know who. I can't remember if Eric or Marc is the initial.
This is Marc's song.
Oh, this is Marc's song. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, this is a newer one for Monofiction. And so I got my little Korg piano synthesizer keys. It was such a beautiful night that night, and the moon was huge. I remember it was a full moon, and when Smash Mouth came out, it was just, the moon was like,
They turned into werewolves.
Yeah, the Smash Mouth gig was incredible, and I absolutely love being a part of Dude. I can't thank you guys enough for having me be the singer for that, and of course, Marc, you're also the lead singer as well. I would consider both of us in it. These bands are just incredible.
Thinking back on it, I think I did turn into a wolf after I got off stage that night. And I ran around Nickel Plate Park.
Yes, me too.
Scaring the families.
So much fun that night. Oh my gosh. Can you, the after performance high was just crazy. We were just like, wow, And we played on great stages. As far as, Dude, we played on my favorite band ever, AWOL Nation. We played on the same stage that they did at the
Where was that at?
Pavilion Pan Am. And that was for St. Patty's Day. And I remember, this is a funny story. Eric Clay Johnson, Blue October opened for them. And we got a picture with, I don't have the picture, but, we got a picture with the lead singer from Blue October, me and Eric, and my best friend, Stephanie, who's a redhead, LOL. And I just needed to, there was this weird barrier. I'm like, literally, I can't do this. This is my favorite band. And so Eric somehow slipped off his little wrist. He gave me his little his thing, and I went ahead and got to go in the mosh pit or whatever. So that meant the world to me, and that was like the best concert ever. I love YALL Nation, but we've done such big gigs. Like, I love it. I can't wait for the future. It's so promising and bright. I love it. So excited.
Can't wait till we need to book a gig. We need to play shows. I mean, this being trapped inside really makes you cherish those moments on stage, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I know there's just so much to come, and hopefully, I know everything's canceled right now, and a lot of my students aren't even going to get to go to prom or senior prom or graduate and stuff like that, and I feel bad for them. I feel really bad, but once this is all over, I know we're going to be doing a bunch of gigs again, and it's just the future is very bright. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Hey. You guys, I'm so silly. So do you guys have any like shout outs or any like last minute, anyone? I want to shout out Jody, Mark's wife, for being a cutie patootie, and she's just so amazing.
Jody!
JJ, JoJo.
She's the best.
JoJo.
Jolliffe. Do we have that picture of Jody? I saved that for you. She, shout out to all our healthcare workers right now. This is crazy, and the pandemic is about to peak in 2 weeks, so it hasn't even peaked yet. So if you think this is like the worst of it, it's not. So it's just good to just be safe, do what they're saying, follow what they're saying. I know everyone.
There's JoJo, our hero right there.
My
doing
God,
some welding,
she's so
apparently.
cute. So this is a homemade mask.
Yeah, doing
Mark?
some welding or protecting herself from a worldwide pandemic. One or the other.
One or the other, like both. This is a homemade mask. Like, how you guys had that stuff? It's perfect.
I mean, that's incredible. I mean, that's what it's resorted to now, right?
I know, and God forbid, like, she's just such an angel, and I love all my band fam so much. You guys have helped guide me, shape me, and the shout out to for me, I'll do a quick shout out to the members of Dude, John and Hart.
Shout out to Sasha, Alex Kane.
Yes, shout out to Eric Clay Johnson's woman.
Jackie O and ZoCat.
She's the sweetest.
All my love.
Yes. Who else do you want to shout out, Eric? Anyone else?
My mom. My mother.
Oh, yes.
Liz
The
Johnson,
Johnsons.
Mark and I's mother.
The Johnsons'
Best
mother.
In the whole wide world.
She's the light of the world. She's so perfect.
Yeah, right on.
Yes, we'll shout her out.
Now that the sun has gone down, Eric, you look like you're in like the Indianapolis catacombs.
I got this from Guantanamo Bay.
I can't wait to see your new house. Y'all, you need to host a party, Eric, when this is all lifted, and we got to come see your new house.
We can get on house party tonight.
It's happening. Do you have the little fire pit in the
hosting
back?
a house party will have to wait.
Yes, and the Don Julio 1942 Lord.
You really think about alcohol a lot, don't you?
I think so. Yeah, I love it. Shout out to your guys' mom. She's the sweetest angel. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to all the members in the band of both the bands that we're in.
Shout out to Jimmy Nye.
Shout out to Jimmy Nye, the sound guy.
Don Emhart.
Yes. Joni Emhart.
Joni.
Yes. And Shandina. Shout out to the baby girl.
Tony. Can't forget Tony Medeiros, right? Come on.
Yes, such a talented drummer and friend. Seriously, shout out to all these people. And let's see, is there anyone? Shout out to Jason Aaron Jolliffe.
Big ups to JJ.
Guys, thank you so much for being my honorary special guest on the Renée Michelle Merrifield Show. You guys
we love you,
mean
Renee.
the world to me.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so
Renee.
much. I can't wait for the future, and thank you for sharing with us all of your accomplishments and your past endeavors. You guys are badass. You're the coolest twins I know, and everybody loves you. And I can't wait to see you guys after this pandemic is over.
Likewise. Take care.
Take care. I love you guys.
Bye, guys.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to the second ever Renée Michelle Merrifield Show, my 27th birthday special. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Eric and Marc Johnson are so talented, and really I can't talk them up enough for everything that they have done, and their whole path is absolutely incredible. Shout out to Jason Aaron for producing this podcast. Hit him up for all your producing TV, video needs.
Jolliffe Digital Production on Facebook. That's JOLLIFF Digital Production.
Yes. And thank you so much. Tune in next Thursday, 7 p.m. for the next Renee Michelle Merrifield show. Bye, everybody. Be safe out there and don't go out and be good. Don't see your grandparents as much as you want to. Don't be sneezing on people, okay? I love you guys. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.